Let's Talk Business Transformation is back, and today's episode features someone who knows exactly what keeps a commerce operation thriving long after launch. Chelsea Carey, Client Services Director at OSF Digital. She's here to share how smart, steady, behind-the-scenes work turns Commerce Cloud into a real engine for growth, not just a platform to maintain. Stick around. This one's all about what happens after the confetti from Go Live settles. So, Chelsea, I think it's a really interesting time for Commerce Cloud and specifically around managed services, just in that I think there's such diverse offerings in the marketplace, and what managed services means so many different things for so many different organizations. And I think it's really disorienting for customers as they look into the marketplace and look at what their managed services options are out in the marketplace. And I think where we sit and what you've done with the team is such a unique offering, and it's such a unique way to go to market with managed services that I wanted to sit you down and talk about Commerce Cloud for a second. So to get us started, can you give us a quick overview of kind of what our Commerce Cloud program really looks like today? And how does it go beyond kind of traditional platforms or issue resolution?
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Pat. I think you kind of nailed it in terms of there's a lot of offerings in the market today. Traditionally, with managed services, it's often thought of as kind of just that support and maintenance that's required to keep your platforms up and running smoothly. But I think at OSF, we take an approach that really looks beyond that traditional break fix and is more focused on outcomes that are really going to work towards driving your e-commerce business, which is at the end of the day, the most important piece. So I think with managed services, I always think of it as our long-standing, our trusted relationships where we get to work together month over month, year after year, and we get to really actually understand your business. And with that, it allows us to provide you not only with that essential break fix issue resolution, but as well provide you with strategy and provide you with the optimization and the continuous evolution of your site moving forward. So all of those are kind of essential to our managed services model, really being that full service delivery from backlog resolution to strategic guidance and advisory. And we really want to make sure that we take that approach of managed services isn't like a necessary evil for your business. Instead, it's going to help to actually grow and be a growth engine for your business.
So when you think about it being a long-term growth enabler, specifically around digital commerce, how does OSF approach managed services as a model differently?
Yeah, I think at OSF, we really look at managed services, as I said, beyond just support, but actually being outcome focused. So with that, it includes, backlog grooming, release management, and that e-commerce consultancy piece, which I think customers are often able to then focus on more of the strategic revenue driving initiatives because they trust that their backlog is taken care of, because they trust that our managed services team is really providing them with the technical execution and that their roadmap is progressing forward. It frees up their time to not be distracted with a stale backlog or firefighting technical issues, but instead they get to focus on being more proactive about revenue generation. And I think for us, managed services is really intended to be that long-term driver because it combines the operational piece, the continuous delivery piece, but then also the strategy to really accelerate your digital transformation.
So doubling down on that strategy piece, then, a lot of brands really struggle in that kind of post-implementation phase, right? Where between you've got your site launched, you're all excited, it's great. Now we need to make continuous improvements and continuous optimization. How does OSF help close those gaps to make sure that there's continuous optimization happening?
Yeah, I think a lot of times when customers are in that kind of implementation, that go live phase, it's very focused on a clear scope, very defined deliverables, and a defined timeline as well.
Mhm.
Whereas within managed services, our model is a little bit different. It's going to be focused on iterative improvements and
Mhm.
continuous optimization. So we try and bring in a structure that's really sprint focused deliveries or sprint based. And
Mhm.
that really allows us to make continuous progress on your backlog. And we still are able to develop in a predictable cadence, which I think is really important to the business. So within managed services, it sets you up with kind of the structure and the processes that are going to allow your business to make decisions faster because
Mhm.
they trust the enhancements are coming on a 2 week basis, maybe. So we really try and allow for the structure, but also the flexibility because we recognize our customers don't operate in that static environment. There's always going to be seasonal peaks. There's always going to be unexpected incidents. So with that, it really allows us to, be able to adapt to changes and bring in the scale, the resourcing, the
Mhm.
skills that are needed at that specific time to help you overcome your business challenges. So for us, it's really looking at the business as a whole. It's looking at kind of the ebbs and flows of
Mhm.
your e-commerce roadmap and making sure that we can build our team around that to support it.
So, as we continue to kind of talk about our strategic consulting, something that always gets talked about is how are we aligning to business goals, right? I think you can go off in so many tangents as a consulting partner, right? And really staying aligned to the key KPIs and business goals of a client are tough. So, how does OSF ensure that we're stayed in line with those Commerce Cloud goals, in line with what the business wants to do?
Yeah, I think for us, what's most important is just looking beyond technology. I think oftentimes managed services, the value's measured in just velocity, throughput, and number of tickets resolved. And I think that leaves a lot on the table for actually quantifying the impact of delivery. So with us, we try and look beyond just the technology and beyond just keeping your platform up and running. But we want to make sure that we consider your business goals. So with that, we try and bring in a team of digital consultants, subject matter expertise who work within our teams to really understand your business and be able to then build a roadmap together that's going to orient the teams moving forward. So, with that, our team of e commerce consultants, they're bringing in not only the technology experience, but they're bringing in experience actually having worked on the platform and worked within the ecosystem to drive revenue within e commerce settings. So, by understanding your business goals, they're then able to really map those to KPIs and then features and functionalities that we can deliver within our technology work stream. So, technology, of course, has its features and functions, but that's got to make sure it fuels your strategy and vision moving forward. And that's why we really believe in a strong integration and collaboration with building a roadmap together because it's going to add value sprint after sprint. It's not just something that we can set it and forget it on day one and then never revisit. For us, we like to make sure we build target based roadmaps so we understand business objective, KPI, set a target, and then monitor how we're going to move forward with getting to that target through the enhancements of your website moving forward. So we like to make sure that we validate technical delivery, that it's having a meaningful impact on your business goals. And that's why we try and build value maps together that aren't just focused on throughput and velocity.
So, what you're really talking about is something that most people would almost associate with implementation, which is you're really talking about a transformational model, right? So, when you think about an example, maybe of a client who's transformed either their experience, their customer experience, or their online performance through this model, are there any that come to mind?
Yeah, I think sometimes it's starting with the basics. So we've had
Mhm.
customers come to us; they're already using the commerce solution, but maybe they're not happy with their site performance. And site performance can really lead towards your customer experience and therefore revenue generation. So, for example, we've had a customer, dissatisfied with site performance and really coming to us with that business challenge to solve with them specifically, they had heavy content requirements,
Mhm.
large product portfolios that were really impacting the homepage, which is, the customer landing page. And what we were able to do within managed services is bring in some of those subject matter expertise and actually run an audit on their site performance
Mhm.
and really identify, what are the fundamental issues that are impacting this. And it allowed for us then, as we kind of started our engagement together, to establish a baseline as to what's the current state, but then also set a goal moving forward as what we're trying to hope to improve and get to in terms of their KPIs and metrics. So for us, after doing that site review, we were able to put together our observations, make a list of recommendations, and then work with both the IT side, but also the business side to triage and prioritize those based off of business impact. Together, that really set us forward on a roadmap that created our backlog, which managed service was then delivering on a sprint by sprint basis, month over month, continually. So managed services really allowed us to work through that backlog together and also really allowed us to do that in parallel with other enhancements. So it wasn't just a sole focus on one specific KPI, but a wider focus on doing these things in parallel. And ultimately, we were able to improve their site speed before their peak season, which helped for the improved customer experience and then hopefully increase revenue generation and get their greatest return on their investment.
And e-commerce really is dependent on speed and adaptability, right? So how does OSF's managed services framework really help clients release new features faster and stay ahead of customer expectations?
Yeah, I think our managed services model is really built on, being able to provide agility, scalability, and then also flexibility. So we want to make sure that we're able to respond quickly to our customers' needs and actually be able to release faster. So with that, we have, standardized frameworks. We have well-defined processes that really allow us to bring in that operational stability through kind of following the core principles of the agile methodology. We take a really iterative approach to development, and that way it ensures that we're both efficient, we're both effective, but we're also maintaining the ability to adapt to customers' business needs, which I think is the most important piece when working in a really dynamic environment like e-commerce. We also have quite a few automated tools that really allow for us to do kind of site monitoring and alert us proactively to any issues that might be impacting the site. And that way we can resolve them before they have a larger customer impact as well. So by by maintaining the site stability, predictable environments, it allows us to focus on more of the delivery of new features and less on putting out fires.
So I can't sit in front of a thought leader like you, or really anyone right now, without asking an AI question, just because it's so ingrained in everything that we're thinking of. So when we're thinking about how you're going with this model, integrating innovation, right, and being on the cutting edge of whatever your client is trying to do, automation, composable commerce, within that kind of managed services framework, how do you drive continuous innovation?
Yeah, I think, as a leader in the Salesforce ecosystem, OSF has always brought innovation to development tools, to processes, to new features. And we really want to help make sure our customers are getting the most out of the Salesforce commerce platform and the roadmap looking forward. So, for example, we have a lot of pre-built commerce cartridges that are intended to really plug and play in our customers' environment and help them overcome business challenges quickly with easy integrations instead of creating net new custom solutions from scratch, which really helps us to deliver faster and bring in kind of those automated approaches to delivery. We also have our own all AI platform, which really supercharges the development lifecycle for our teams. We can develop faster and with higher quality with these tools like code reviews, creating test cases, all AI documentation. It really allows us to kind of streamline our workflows moving forward and increase the productivity and continuous improvement. So it's not always innovation necessarily on the platform, but it's innovation on our processes and how we're working together so that we can bring more effective and efficient operating models that are then going to lower your total cost of ownership in the long run.
So what I'm hearing here is a lot of great business value delivered really fast, technical expertise, all the things that a client would look for. But that creates a problem in and of itself, right? Which is you're creating a lot of change that needs to be managed. So beyond that kind of technical expertise, right? How does OSF work alongside those client teams to make sure that we have better governance, agile workflows, and make sure the teams are cross collaborating?
Yeah. I always like to tell our customers, at kickoff, our goal is to feel like an extension of your own team. And we do so by bringing in and establishing a strong governance structure that really sets the foundation for collaboration, for transparency, and for communication moving forward. So, from kickoff of managed services, we really work with our customers to establish that governance structure. What's that engagement model going to look like? And that really lays the foundation and the groundwork for us to be successful in working together moving forward. So, our project managers, for example, they will take ownership on being that day to day contact for our customers, really working with them to understand priorities, plan sprints together, report on the progress, and ultimately ensure that communication and deliverables are flowing efficiently both up and downstream. And then also by just embedding our teams within our customers' technology, within our customers' business processes, and your internal workflows, it allows for us to really adopt your business goals as our own and then promote kind of that one team partnership, which is really guided by the trust and the shared success that we take in those wins together.
So Chelsea, you've been working with so many clients and continuing to do this really innovative managed services approach that's been helping so many clients. But with that, you break things, and I'd imagine there's been some lessons learned in helping clients mature their operations and internal capabilities. So I'd love for you to take a moment to just share some of those lessons learned that you have so far.
Yeah, I think for us, it's just keeping in mind that no two customers are the same. And
Yeah.
we're reminded that on a daily basis because each customer is unique in their tech stack, their platform maturity, and also what internal support and expertise they have within their company. So, with that, it's really critical that we maintain the flexibility of our programs. And that's why we lead with that as one of our core values within managed
Hmm.
services. Also, our focus on continuous improvement, it requires that constant discipline of governance and structure. So that's why I emphasize how important it is to
Hmm.
start with that at the kickoff of our engagements. But I think also first and foremost, what I would say is for our customers, it's really helping them to bring together the business, the digital, the marketing, the IT as one. And we've really learned the value of unlocking that unified team in that
Hmm.
program. It really helps us to reinforce, shared planning, unified priorities as we kick off every sprint. And it really just helps us to facilitate the integration and alignment, not only within our teams, but within our customers' environments as well. So with that, I think it's a big learning and something that we try and bring to our customers' engagement and to our governance structure and our sprint ceremonies, because when everyone's working together in the same direction, it really helps us to accelerate that roadmap because we have the same goals, we're striving towards the same business impact.
So as we look ahead, right, and I know you have your eyes on 2026 and beyond, right, and what do the trends in commerce cloud and in managed services look like? What are you most excited about what you're going to be doing with your clients in this kind of next evolution of digital commerce?
Yeah, I think we touched upon it briefly just in terms of innovation. I think
Hmm.
innovation is going to continue to just bring the next evolution of not only commerce technology, but our partnerships and working together. So, you mentioned we'd be remiss not to talk about AI, but really
Hmm.
deepening the use of both predictive and generative AI is really going to empower our customers' experience, but also continue to empower a more efficient managed services support model. So, with that, the product roadmap of Agent Force, Personal Shopper, features like product recommendations. Those are all going to continue to unlock new value and new opportunities for our customers. But it's important that within managed services, we're not just prepared to implement those and support them, but it's about analyzing and providing insights moving forward because these are tools that you can't just set and forget. Within managed services, we want to make sure that we continue to tailor and optimize these agents so that it's bringing better operational efficiency and bringing more productivity to your environment. So I think it goes hand in hand with our mission within managed services, which is just shifting from keep the lights on to actually growing your business and evolutions. And I think innovation is going to really power that moving forward.
I feel like that's a perfect place to end. Chelsea, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Let's Talk Business Transformation by OSF Digital. Follow us for more episodes and visit osf.digital to learn more.